How is everybody? Hi TikTok, hi Facebook, hi YouTube, hi Twitch. I don't know what the heck just happened to my thing. I'm just going to restart over here on this so I can get to YouTube, and I'm not going to do this because apparently this is not wanting to be nice to me. So, how's everybody doing? I hope that you got a chance to watch this afternoon's live. If you weren't there, if you watch it on a replay, believe me, you're not going to want to miss that. That was very interesting, and it was we had the authors of Street Smart Safety for Women on, Your Guide to Defensive Living. Really super interesting. It crosses over in a lot of our true crime cases, but amazing. Amazing. Joy Farrow is a retired deputy sheriff. She's actually we found out connected today. She lived right near me in New York, but relocated to Florida. She was actually on duty when there was a shooting at the airport down there in Fort Lauderdale. So there was trauma she had from that too. So a lot of things about being safe. And then Laura Frombach, she was in the Army, she was in tech field, and lots of information from these ladies from staying safe in so many situations. And they talked about that murder in Boca Raton where the older woman, I think she was in her 70s, was waiting for a washer dryer to be delivered, and then one of the delivery people went back in and killed her. Remember that one? We talked about that. That's in here. She talks about the killer across the table. She talks about different serial killers in here. She talks about dating safely. She talks about Ted Bundy. They talk about personal experiences where they were in dangerous situations. So it's really very good book. Again, there's a link to it, and they do have a website, which is streetsmartsafety.org, I believe, but I'm going to put it in the video description. But the book is in there, and I think this is really good for any woman in your life. You need to read it. Your daughters need to read it. Your nieces, your sisters, etc., etc. Anyway, I couldn't put it down. Once I opened it, I went through the entire thing. It was just crazy. I think I opened it at like 9 or 10 o'clock, and I didn't stop. And next thing I knew, it was like 1 something. It was crazy. All right, let's get to the live stream because I can't even see on YouTube. So let me go to that. Okay. Here we go. Hi there, easily distracted. Hi, White Angel. Hi, Billy Boy Blue. How are you? Hi, Laura. Oh my gosh. Yes. You're going to Delphi tomorrow. I'm so sorry. I haven't been able to come connect. You get no sleep when you try to make it. Oh gosh. Did you want to talk about it? If you ever want to call in, if you want to call in now, how many days have you been there? Scooter was saying you have to get up in the middle of the night there to get a space. Hi, Christine F. Why am I not on live chat? Hi, One Eye Blind Arts. Margot. Hello, Billy Boy Blue. How have you been doing? You haven't been checking in on us much. We're thinking that you hate us, and now we're at November 24th again. I don't know why. Driving me crazy. So hit those thumbs up, please, guys, so we'll get in the algorithms, and share us out if you can. But we're going to talk about Delphi. We're going to talk about an Uber Eats situation where a woman accused the Uber Eats driver of snacking on her food, and then the Uber Eats driver spit in her face. We're going to talk about a potential homicide out in the Hamptons at an upscale Airbnb spot, not an Airbnb, I'm so sorry, wellness spa. And then we're going to talk about, what do I have? Delphi, I have, the Menendez Brothers getting a new judge. Hi, Frilly Farmhouse, Menendez Brothers, and I have some other things. Oh, that burn pit trial that's supposed to go to close. That Scooter was filling us in on the other night, and others were. That's going to go to closing arguments tomorrow. So that's been a long trial. So we could talk a little bit about that too. Easily Distracted said, you had a female. Hold on a minute. Let me just turn this. Make this a little bit larger. You had a female gang come after me after leaving, but with a friend. I don't drink, but medical, so we left. I picked up a stick with drawings, not knowing gang sign. Thing I said was, love the art. Huh. Crazy. That sounds like a crazy situation. They're easily distracted. So let me get our Delphi. There was a heated interrogation. So they showed the interrogation of Richard Allen, and it got very heated in that interrogation. So the jury saw what transpired, and we're going to go over that. I'm just going to put up an image so that we are aware. Okay, so let's talk about what happened on day 10. The line to get into the Carroll County Courthouse, you'll probably know this, Laura, started forming at 5:30 Monday night. The number of people allowed inside the courtroom each day is limited, so the line starts forming as soon as the previous day's session is adjourned. That is crazy. So they spend all night out there, huh? And it's not exactly warm, is it, over there? Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, so court began at 9:02 a.m. Richard Allen was wearing a light purple button-down shirt with khaki pants, and he looks like he lost even more weight, according to Kyla Russell from News 8. The state entered into evidence 2 video interviews with Richard Allen, one from October 13th and another from October 26th. Judge Gull tells the jury that parts are redacted as they do not pertain to the investigation. The judge allows both videos, one with Mullen and Leggett and the other with Holman. At 9:14, the jury enters the courtroom and the video is on the screen. Judge Gull says the jury was able to have supervised use of their phones last night, and they were able to look at work emails. The state plays the October 13th video first. Mullen and Leggett explain in the video why they are talking to Richard Allen. They read him his rights. They tell him he can leave at any time, and Richard Allen says he understands. In the video, Mullen reads to Allen what they have learned from Dullen's interview with Allen in February of 2017. The 3 men joke about their ages. Allen says, I'm in the 50 club this year. Allen gives his phone number to Mullins and tells him he has an Android phone. Allen gives his email address to them. Mullen asks Allen if he uses Facebook, and Allen says, my wife does, I don't. Allen says in the video that he's married. He has a daughter who was born in 1994. He says his daughter is also married. Her husband used to live in the Philippines and Canada, and that his daughter got married in 2017. Allen says he graduated high school in 1991, and he studied accounting at Ivy Tech before joining the military. He said he played football in high school for a year, and he was not an honor student. Allen says he was in the National Guard and that he lived in Mexico, Indiana, most of his life. He said he does not consistently go to church, and he has no criminal record. Allen said he had a heart attack in 2010 at the age of 37. He says on the video that he suffers from depression and anxiety. He tells investigators in the video that he worked at CVS since 2013 and previously worked at the location in Peru. He says he worked for Walmart for 10 years before that, and that he left because he was tired of the bureaucracy. Mullen brings up February 2017, and Richard Allen says he was at his mother's in Peru while his wife was working and left there at 11:15 a.m. He said he went home to get a jacket, even though it was warm out. Richard Allen said he walked down to the High Bridge, went out a little bit on a platform, and watched the fish. Allen says that he left. He says he parked either on the bridge side or near a smaller bridge. Leggett shows him a map of the area, and Mullins explains where things are on the map. Richard Allen says he didn't go out all that often, but that it varied, and that he had gone out a time or two in the winter months. Mullen asked Allen if there were any other way he would have driven to get there, and Allen said maybe, but really they always took the same route through downtown. Allen said he was driving downtown a few days after the girls died when the DNR officer called and they agreed to meet at Save-A-Lot. Allen said he thought about it a lot because he was probably there around them. Allen said he told Dullen he saw 3 girls. He thought one was babysitting, 2 of the girls, and he thought they all looked alike. Okay. Now, the reporter Kyla Russell reported at this time that Richard Allen was shaking his head in the courtroom as this was playing. In the video, Allen said there were 2 cars at the end of the trail near the entrance, a sedan and an SUV, and Allen said he left around 1:30 or 1:45. Allen said in the video that he worked at a Walmart community event near the trails years ago, and he also worked near the Carrollton Bridge on the community service day. Allen said there were no vehicles where he parked on February 13th of 2017. Mullen asked how far out on the bridge he went that day. He said he wasn't sure how many feet it was, but really he never went past the first pattern. Leggett asked how and where he walked to get on the bridge, and Allen doesn't give a clear answer. Allen explains he had a red Ford car before he got the black car. Mullen asks again about him seeing 3 girls. Allen said he did not see anyone else while on the trails, and he was walking towards the girls. I don't remember seeing anyone that day. If I did, they didn't stand out to me, he said. Allen said in the video that he had an individual stock trading account and was trying to get rich. And he laughs. Allen says in the video, that was a hobby, I guess, for me, referring to the question about stocks. Mullen asks what he was wearing that day, and Allen said he was wearing blue jeans and a black off-brand Carhartt jacket. Leggett asked in the video if he was wearing a hat, and Allen said if it was, it would have been the skull cap that he kept in his jacket pockets. Allen said he was wearing either tennis shoes or combat boots or work boots. And you can see Mullen texting during the interview. Mullen asked Allen about what phone he had in 2017, and Allen said he doesn't know, but he's had his current phone for several years. Leggett asked if Allen has a photo of his car and if they can confirm some of this information by searching his home and extracting data from his current phone, and they ask if they can do that immediately. Richard Allen asks, "How long are you going to have my phone?" Leggett asks what service provider he has, and Allen says he uses Ting based off Verizon. Leggett asks what service provider that he had in 2017, and Allen says that they can extract the information from his current phone. Mullen reads another round of Miranda rights as it pertains to the cell phone extraction. Richard Allen says in this video that I don't want to be someone else's fall guy. I thought we were talking. I haven't thought about this in a long time. I don't want you guys to get someone from the public so we can close this thing. Richard Allen says it's starting to feel like you think I'm the main lead here. Leggett says we decided to pick through this from the very beginning. There's no fall guy. If you think I might have actually done this and you want to get a warrant or something, that's fine, Allen said. Allen agrees to let them look through his current phone, and he says he will look for the phone he had in 2017. He decides not to sign anything until he speaks to his wife. Allen says in the video, "Am I an angel of a person? No. But I guess I just don't want you looking through every website I've ever checked." He said he's worried they will find pieces close to fitting and make it fit. "I don't think you're coming for me," Allen said. "I want closure for the family as much as anyone else." And again, Kyla Russell, who's in the courthouse reporting on what's happening, said at this point in the video that in the gallery, Kathy Allen, Richard Allen's wife, is pretty upset watching this video. Back to the video, Richard Allen says in the video that he would not want people going through their home. "We're here because we haven't found the guy who did this. I don't want to become that guy." Allen says there's nothing to tie me. I'm not worried. I had nothing to do with it. If I had anything useful to you, I would give you anything I had. Mullins explains in the video why they want to look at his car. Allen talks about watching Dateline every week with his wife and doesn't want to be that story. Allen says to the investigators, "This is out of left field, guys. I'm going to talk to my wife before I do anything. This impacts her more than it impacts me." Mullen and Leggett step out of the room, and Allen checks his phone. They return and show him photos of his car going to the trail. Mullen says, "We've been able to talk to your wife and daughter." Mullen says his wife and daughter describe Allen's mental health issues. Mullen shows Allen a picture of Bridge Guy. Mullins asks, "Is this you?" Allen says, "I was going to shoot myself one night. I don't have psychological issues because I went out and killed 2 girls." Okay, let's see here. Okay, at this point, Richard Allen's wife, Kathy, is crying and sobbing in the courtroom. Mullins asks in the video, "Why is this information showing us one thing, but you're saying another?" Allen says it feels like he's being interrogated. "What info do you have?" "You have that I was out there? I told you that." After there's a cut in the video, Leggett says, "We have people that saw you." Leggett then leaves the room. Allen says, "You're trying to change my words around." Mullins asks, "The question is this you?" Richard Allen replies, "No." Mullins says in the video, "You were out there to do this to the girls, or you were trying to introduce them to someone." Allen continues to deny that. Allen says, "Arrest me or take me home. I'm done. You're not going to find anything that connects me to the murders. You've lost my trust. Now you've pissed me off. You're an expletive." Excuse me. In the video, Allen gets up and leaves. And at this point in the courtroom, there was laughter, they said. Crazy. Let's see here. Now we're going to go on over here. They got back from recess at 11:05. The jury was then shown the interview from October 26th of 2022. In the video, Holman is interviewing Richard Allen, and he tells Richard Allen what they took from the house and what is being tested. And he tells Richard Allen that they took swabs from a lot of the items. Holman asks Allen if he's ever loaned any of his items, like a gun, out to anyone where DNA could have been transferred. He also asks Allen if he had the gun on him when he went to the trails on February 13th, 2017. Richard Allen said he did not. In the video, Holman tells Allen that the Sig Sauer matched the cartridge from the crime scene. Allen laughs in apparent disbelief and says he doesn't need to read the ballistics report. "There's no way," he tells Holman in the interview. "I'm on your side," Holman says to Richard Allen. Holman then asks Allen about saying it's over during the search. He said, "The damage is done," Allen replied, right? Holman then tells Allen the media will portray him in a certain way and asks, "Are you the mastermind?" Allen responds, "Mastermind? Okay." He asks Holman if he realizes what he's going through, telling him he has anxiety and all kinds of stress. Allen adds, "There is no way around from my gun was anywhere near those girls on the bridge, or the bridge." He continues, "Go ahead and do what you're going to do. Anybody who knows me knows I could never, even if I wanted to. That's not me." Holman tells Allen the science doesn't lie and that the death penalty is on the line. Allen says he doesn't care. In the video, Holman tells Allen he was the last one to contact the girls, and Allen denies the claim, saying he didn't even know them. "Go ahead and kill me. You'll make my wife rich," Allen says. At this point in the video, Holman leaves the room, and Richard Allen remains seated and looks around. Crime scene photos were on the table, but Allen did not look at them after Holman left the room. Holman comes back with a man who swabs Allen's mouth and lips for DNA. Allen did not object to being swabbed. The man taking the DNA sample leaves the room. "Ball is in your court," Holman tells Allen when they're alone. Holman says they have more evidence from the bullet. He says that Allen is the bridge guy, and there are 5 witnesses saying he was there. As it was noted in Saturday's testimony, Holman is lying here. Then Allen says, "I'm not telling you I did something I didn't effing do. There's nothing you have to implicate me because I wasn't out there." Holman says, "Your conscience is trying to tell you to get out in front of this." Allen says, "If you're going to arrest me, arrest me. I'm done talking. Nothing you have is going to show me anywhere near the murder of those little girls." Holman leaves the room. He returns and tells Allen that witnesses saw him with a gun on February 13th, 2017. "I told you I was on the trail. I didn't tell you I was at a murder scene. I'm not going to tell you something that didn't happen so you can feel better about this." In the video, Allen says his wife will tell the police he would never do this. In the courtroom, Allen's wife, Kathy, nods her head. The very day police asked for people to come forward about being there, I did, Allen told Holman in an interview video. Allen continues to say that Holman is trying to trick him. Holman again leaves the room. Allen appears emotional and shakes his head. When he returns to the room, Holman says Allen's depression has gotten worse since the murders. "If I murdered 2 girls, I'd have depression too," Holman tells him. "I did not murder 2 little girls," Allen replies. Holman asks Alan about his gun. Alan replies and says he carries his gun only when he goes night fishing or mushroom hunting. At this point, Holman, who has returned to the witness stand, tells the court he isn't lying to Alan, but that he told him several lies as a tactic. In the video, Holman says, "I can't present the evidence to a jury of your peers before leaving again." Holman returns a short time later, tells Alan his wife Kathy wants to talk to him, and goes to get her. "What kind of good person kills two people?" Alan asks. Russell says that at this point in the interview, Alan had not been read his rights. On Saturday, Holman testified that the reading of the Miranda rights was not recorded. In the video, Kathy Allen enters the room and hugs her husband. "It's going to be all right," Alan tells his wife. He tells her that he can't believe she thinks he committed the murders. "You know me. You know this isn't something I could do." Alan says, "I'm not going to sit here and convince you. I know you know I didn't do this." Kathy Allen asks her husband how the bullet from his gun ended up at the crime scene, adding, "They are going to come after you, and I don't know how to answer that." Richard Allen tries to comfort his wife, telling her that nobody is in trouble and that he loves her. "They aren't going to get away with this," Richard Allen says. At this point, Richard Allen looked back at his wife in the courtroom and winked. Kathy Allen says again in that video that she can't understand where the bullet came from. Richard Allen tells his wife to say she wants an attorney and that they will let him leave. The video cuts to Holman back in the interview room with Richard and Kathy Allen. Richard Allen asks Holman to let Kathy leave, and the two hug as she prepares to leave. Holman tells Kathy to tell her husband to do the right thing as she leaves the room. Holman exits the room and returns a short while later. "You're going to pay for what you've done with my wife," Allen tells him. In the video, Holman screams at Allen. "Arrest me," Allen tells Holman. "Happy to. You're effing guilty, and I'm going to prove it," Holman retorts. The video ends just after 12:45 p.m., and then they took another break. Came back from that break. Let's see. No, wait. Where's the... Come, there's not... Sometimes they put this in the wrong order because... Should be the cross-examination, but I don't know why it's not that. They don't have that there yet. Okay, after the former Westville prison warden John Gallipo left the witness stand, state prosecutor Nick McLeland called Ethan Drang. He worked for Westville for 2.5 years and watched Richard Allen when he was on suicide watch. Part of Drang's requirements were to document Allen's daily events every 15 minutes. The state's next exhibit showed the Suicide Watch companion report from April 5, 2023. Drang said the log was made in real time, starting at 6 a.m. At 8:46 a.m., Allen reportedly said, "I think coming to prison has cured my depression and anxiety. Do you want my Bible?" Later, Drang said Allen slipped an interview request under the door. Drang said he had no training on when someone is faking a mental health condition. Drang continued describing Allen's day on April 5th at 7:25 a.m. and said Allen was crying and screaming. He later told the jury that Allen was upset anytime he had to return to his cell. The jury chimed in for questions, asking what was inside the yellow envelope from April 5th of 2023, which Drang said was the interview request. Let's see, Kyla Russell mentioned there was a huge discrepancy on when the interview request came in. There was a note on the yellow envelope from Warden Gallipo, received March 5th, 2023, though Drang did not receive the note until April 5th. Okay. Okay, state witness John Gallipo, the former warden at the Westville Correctional Unit that Richard Allen was imprisoned on, was on the stand, and Gallipo said Allen lived in A-Pod A1, which included 4 cells for inmates on suicide watch. He described the cell as a 12-foot by 8-foot cell, the same size as the other cells in the unit. The cell included a bed, bolted to the ground, a toilet, 3 sets of clothing, and 2 tablets to download apps, to make calls, to listen to music. He also said each suicide watch cell has a camera on the ceiling and the lights were on 24 hours a day. Inmates on suicide watch were seen by medical daily, had recreational time 5 times a week, and showered 3 times a week like the other inmates. Gallipo added that Allen saw his family twice while at Westville, and being the only inmate granted that privilege. Gallipo said Allen was first watched by other inmates before correctional officers. Kyla Russell reported this shift only happened after he received legal mail on April 3rd, 2023. Gallipo added that Allen used the toilet in the cell, but also used the toilet water to wash his face. Ew. Oh gosh, that's gross. The state then showed the jury exhibit 292, Richard Allen's request for an interview. It read, "I am ready to officially confess to killing Abby and Libby. I hope I get the chance to apologize to their families." Gallipo described the several times Allen admitted and apologized to him about the murders. Allen also told him that he threw out the box cutter used to kill the girls in a CVS dumpster. It wasn't clear if this was the CVS where Allen was employed at. Despite the confession, Gallipo said Allen's treatment did not change. Hold on a second, I gotta clean my glasses here. Allen's attorney, Brad Rozzi, began cross-examination, and Rozzi asked about the safekeeping order, saying that the Department of Corrections took Allen into custody while the case was pending. Rozzi then described the layout of Westville, presenting a map of the facility. It's a medium security state prison. There's 3,000 inmates. It has a maximum security unit within it, and that's where Allen was housed. Rozzi described the maximum security part of the prison within a prison. Westville is one of the 3 most secure prisons in Indiana. Westville's full name is Westville Correctional Unit, but Rozzi called it the Whole. He also mentioned that when inmates are on suicide watch, they're in the special cells an average of a few days to a week. Allen was under suicide watch for 13 months. Rozzi said he was not aware of a pretrial detainee being held that long in the suicide cell in the state. Russell reported that Gallipo described Allen's cell at his time in Westville like so. Allen came to the prison on suicide watch, bed barely off the ground, 1 narrow window that was broken but later fixed, steel toilet, and steel door to a concrete cell. Allen could not interact with the general population. Food received through a small slot in the door. There was no table or desk to sit and eat, no chair in the room. Allen had a tablet that was broken but later replaced. Monitored while showering, while he showered. Had to wear a smock while bathing. Did not get to leave cell on Tuesdays. Gallipo then explained Allen's visits with family. The visits happened at a different facility in Westville. He wore hand restraints with a box over his hands, and he wore leg irons. Rozzi referred to his restraints as a dog leash. Allen was not allowed food or drink during the visits, though general population inmates are allowed these things. Rozzi told the court that the attorneys weren't allowed to check their phones while with Allen. Their phone calls with him were not recorded, but they had a camcorder to tape the visits with him. Prison officials used force twice on Allen after he had visits with his attorneys. Russell reported that Allen was tased. Okay, Rozzi said that Allen's companions in the suicide cells were incentivized to tell on him. The companions also weren't allowed to speak to Allen or repeat anything Allen said, but told people outside. Rozzi adds that the prison guards do not have any formal mental health training. Gallo continued testifying, saying that he did not document any of Allen's verbal confessions he made to him. He also said he never talked to the Carroll County Sheriff's Office about Allen, and he did not follow up on why he was moved out of Westville. I did not neglect my duties, said Gallo. State prosecutor Nick McLeland jumped in to say he had Allen on suicide watch as an order from his psychologist. Rozzi asked one final question about the camcorders during the visits, which Gallo said was because the room didn't have any cameras. And Gallo left the stand at 2:49. Okay, let's see here. The state's next witness were Westville officers who observed Richard Allen while he was on suicide watch. Officer Michael Clemens had worked at the Westville Correctional Facility for 4 years and monitored Allen and documented his actions in real time. The log from Clemens from April 6th of 2023 was displayed to the court. The following timestamps are quotes Clemens documented from Allen. 7:30 a.m. And these are quotes that what I'm going to read you. I quote. These are what Allen said. God, I'm so glad nobody gave up on me after I killed Abby and Libby. 8:01 a.m. I, Richard Matthew Allen, killed Abby and Libby all by myself. Nobody helped me. 8:03 a.m. I am not crazy. I am only acting like I'm crazy. Clemens mentioned a few other quotes from Allen, including, I am ready to confess, I don't want to die, and an unspecified moment where Allen was screaming nonsense. Clemens told the jury that he was stationed to monitor Allen for several months, for several hours each shift. He mentioned Allen's behavior changed in random ways. Defense Brad Rozzi asked Clemens if Allen said how he killed Abby or Libby, and Clemens said no. Rozzi said that Allen's statement at 8:03 was his response to other inmates watching him. Rozzi added that other inmates would call Allen a baby killer. Clemens said that he was not there when Allen was tased and didn't see or hear that Allen was smearing or eating feces. He also didn't believe Allen was acting crazy, saying his shift in behavior was like a switch flip. Allen asked Clemens about mental health codes, to which Clemens said if he knew Allen had a code, that might have changed his mind. The jury asked Clemens if he documented when Allen shouted at other inmates. He replied, it's possible. Another prison employee named Officer Smith in pool notes testified about Allen's day on April 10, 2023. The jury was shown an exhibit featuring Allen's daily log for that day. Before 4 a.m., Smith documented Allen repeatedly saying his wife's name, Kathy, and running into the door. Below are timestamps featuring other events from the log. 2:50 a.m., Allen repeatedly saying expletives while singing God Bless America. At 3:35 a.m., my name is Richard Matthew Allen of the National Guard, singing God Bless America. 3:52 a.m., Allen was running into the door and bracing for impact. Other events noted when Allen began stuffing papers into the toilet, later saying, Chris is my best friend. Smith also said on April 22nd, Allen talked about suicide. I killed those girls, so I have to kill myself. He was documented as saying. Officer Michael Roberts testified as well. He worked at Westville for 8 years and in court discussed multiple companion logs and confessions documented from Allen in April of 2023. On April 7th at 1:45 p.m., they have it that Allen said, I want to confess, I know a lot. April 13th at 8:19 a.m., what more do I got to do? Allen was reporting to be rolling on the ground when he said that. April 23rd at 2 p.m. I killed Abby and Libby. My wife wasn't involved. I would like to confess. April 26th, 5:06 a.m. Can I talk? Can you listen? How do I prove that I'm insane? April 26th, 3:30 p.m. Why are you doing this? Do you know God? April 26th at 3:30 p.m. I'll take some KFC. My grandpa molested me, right? According to pool notes shared, other statements said to the jury included, am I already dead? How do I prove that I'm sane? How can I go home? Am I in jail? I'm not a racist. Please help me. Please, God, help me. Brandon Fisher also worked at Westville and monitored Allen. He was observing Allen on April 20th, 2023. Fisher told the jury that around 6 p.m. that day, Allen woke up, came to his door, and asked for his Bible. Shortly after this, Allen reportedly thanked Fisher for watching him. At 6:15 p.m., Allen told Fisher he wanted to talk to the prison warden, John Gallipo, and confessed that he is guilty. Allen then requested a shower and his Bible. Fisher also mentioned Allen had been drinking water out of the toilet. Court adjourned around 6:45 p.m. and is set to resume on 9 a.m. Wednesday. So there's that. What do you guys think? I think it's time for another poll is what I think. What do you guys think about this? Let's see what you're saying in here. Oh, I hope you're okay, Nelson. Let me see. I just don't trust the sheriff, says easily distracted. And then easily distracted said, I can totally be wrong. I can't stay awake. It's time to rest. Get some rest, one-eye blind art. He was tortured, says easily distracted. It sounds like a forced confession. Yeah, it sounds crazy. And what's going on that they don't have much tying this guy to these crimes except for that unspent bullet. And my goodness, that couldn't that have been planted? It wasn't even spent. I mean, the girls weren't even killed with a gun. I mean, come on. What is going on? It sounds insane. Was it a box cutter that they were killed with? I mean, he had a lot of box cutters at his house. Is there box cutters that are missing? Do they think it was a box cutter that inflicted the injury? I don't know. It is very odd, isn't it? It's very odd. Let me take a poll here and see where we are. Okay, and let me add an option. What's going on? Something's up with YouTube. It's doing something weird. Can everybody please type something in the chat? Because something's going on with the chat. The chat is messed up. It's totally messed up on my end. Now it's going back. Yeah, it just went it just like about took everybody out. It was crazy. I don't know what the heck is glitching with YouTube, but something's glitching. Hi, White Angel. White Angel, did you get any packages? Let's see. So 60% are saying no. I mean, I don't know. It's getting wacko with where is this unspent bullet? I mean, can't somebody even say that it was planted? When? I don't know. I don't know. Something seems really, really strange. This whole case is so strange. Hold on, I'm getting a drink. Okay. Yeah, this case is really, really strange. I have to get a new computer chair. My computer chair's going. You hear all that? Pretty soon the bolts are going to just... Oh, you didn't get him yet? Okay. I didn't check the tracking. I'm just wondering. Let's see. Yeah, hit the likes. There we go. We're going back up. I don't know what happened. It was like it took everybody out. It was crazy. 67% say no. 57 now. Okay. We'll let that keep going. And talk a little bit about Menendez Brothers. Okay. Let me get a graphic up here. This is an old flashback one. Come on now. Get on over there. There you go. All right, so a new judge is now involved in reviewing a resentencing recommendation for Lyle and Eric Menendez following the Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon's proposal that Lyle and Eric be sentenced to 50 years to life with the possibility of parole. Judge Michael Jessic has joined the Menendez case along with Judge William Ryan. Veteran journalist Robert Rand said the brothers' attorney Mark Geragos is pursuing a dual strategy to secure Lyle and Eric's release. A clever move by Mark, Rand said. He's created two parallel tracks, as I understand it. One where Judge Ryan would rule on the habeas petition, and another where the new Judge Jessic will rule on the resentencing. If the two judges both rule in their favor, I think they should get out in a few weeks. A habeas petition is the legal document that's filed in the court to challenge the lawfulness of a person's detention or imprisonment. It asserts the individual is being held without sufficient legal justification and seeks to have the court review the case, presenting new evidence. If Jessic accepts the recommendation and the DA's office makes no changes, the critical issue will be whether the parole board grants the brothers their release. This means that they won't be released before Thanksgiving, despite Garagos' hopes. The district attorney's office told Newsweek on Tuesday that they remain open to considering any new developments in the case. And they said, and I quote, "While we currently believe that the evidence supports the first-degree murder charge, we remain open to consider any additional evidence and argument by counsel." The petition will take at least 30 days to reach a judge and another 6 months for a parole hearing, so at least 7 months in total. According to the California Department of Corrections, proposed decisions will become final within 120 days from the date of the parole hearing. During the 120 days following a parole hearing, the audio recording of the hearing will be transcribed, and that decision will be subject to review by the board's legal office. This indicates, barring any legal issues, that they could be released within 4 months of the parole hearing. Adding the initial 7th-month wait brings the total time to approximately 11 months. The court has now moved the case to the Van Nuys Courthouse, the same location where the brothers were initially tried for the murder of their parents. Lyle is now 56 and Eric is 53, and they have spent 3 decades behind bars. They have spent 35 years in prison. They have allegedly done everything they've been asked to do, including going to college and working as mentors for others, Gascon said. They've also completed extensive rehabilitative work. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's talk about that murder in the Hamptons. Okay. All right, here we go with this one. A woman's body was found in a guest room at an upscale spa and resort in the Hamptons, in New York, on Tuesday. The body of Sabina Rosas, 33 of Brooklyn, was discovered by an employee of Shu Sugi Ban House in Watermill, about 90 miles east of Midtown Manhattan, the Suffolk County Police say. Southampton Town Police patrol units responded to the resort at 337 Montauk Highway at about 12:30 p.m. County police say Suffolk County Police Homicide Squad detectives are investigating the murder of a victim whose body was found in a guest room at the Watermill Resort. It was determined the woman was a victim of a violence. Investigators say that it appeared to be a targeted attack and the residents should not be in fear. Police patrol units responded to a suspicious death at the resort, with detectives believing it appears to be an isolated incident with no immediate danger to the public at this time. Southampton police gave that in their statement. Okay, so the resort itself is a space inspired by the principles of wabi-sabi and wellness traditions that value the simple beauty and healing properties found within the natural world. As the only comprehensive wellness program in the Hamptons, the resort offers an environment that is both tranquil and transcendent, encouraging one to return to the simplicity of self. That's from the resort's website. A representative for the resort could not immediately be reached for comment. Sad. That's crazy. Okay. Next, Uber Eats situation. An Uber Eats situation. In Florida, of course, Florida. Okay. An Uber Eats driver was accused by the customer of snacking on her food and then spitting in her face when confronted about it. The driver is facing burglary, assault, and grand theft charges. An Uber Eats driver was arrested in Polk County, Florida, after authorities allege that she ate food from an order and then stole holiday decorations from a customer's yard. They say she spat in the customer's face after being confronted. The Polk County Sheriff's Office report alleges that the driver, Alessandra Del Val Acosta Aguilar, was spotted by the customer removing food from the bag that she ordered while outside the customer's home while making a delivery there shortly before midnight on September 12th. The customer told police she then went outside her Davenport, Florida home and noticed Aguilar holding her Happy Fall Y'all yard sign. People say the customer also noticed other holiday decorations, including a column of pumpkins, had been moved and were now sitting near Aguilar's vehicle. When the customer approached Aguilar and wrestled the sign out of her hands, the Uber Eats driver then allegedly spat in the woman's face after they got into an argument. Aguilar then shoved the stolen items into the car and drove off. The alleged victim claimed the 4 stolen decorative pumpkins were worth $75 each. They claimed Aguilar stole about $330 worth of decorations from the Davenport home. Aguilar is facing charges of burglary with assault and grand theft from a home, according to police, who say she admitted she delivered an order to the address where the alleged incident occurred. Police said Aguilar was arrested based on the statement provided by the victim made by the suspect and records from Uber Eats. The behavior is shocking and unacceptable, said a spokesperson for Uber Eats. We removed the courier's access to the Uber platform and are supporting law enforcement with their investigation. Oh my goodness. Crazy. And I just realized something here. I've got to fix something because it's... Hold on, let me see. I think I have a... This is a she spit. It's not he, it's she. Okay, I fixed that. Let me just change the thumbnail, cause... But that's crazy, right? Totally crazy. Okay, I just want to fix this because I like to have the right thumbnail up. So I saw a video. Hold on a minute. I'll tell you 1 sec. I'll check you out in 1 second. Just want to put this. Where did you go? Oh yeah, and there's two new Diddy lawsuits, I believe, that were filed on Monday. Monday. Okay, that's the one I... All right, got that done. Now I'm going to check the poll. Let's see what we got. Poll says, do you think Richard Allen killed Abby and Libby? Yes, 48%. No, 32%. 20% are not sure. So the no's and not sure's outweigh the yeses. Interesting. Very interesting. So I don't know. That's crazy, right, guys? All right, let's see. I'm going to end that. And Easily Distracted said, I saw in a video she was tripping over webbing. We need more mental health clinics. Good old Florida. Easy Distracted said, yeah, I know. Hi, Sandra Voss. How are you? You read a statistic yesterday, White Angel said there are apparently 160,000 people incarcerated in the United States for murder. I knew there were a lot, but I've never thought there were that many. Imagine what those drivers do a block away with your food. That's why I don't do Uber Eats. No, skip the dishes. For me here either, and always take my own cutlery to restaurants. Do you really take your own cutlery to the restaurant? Interesting. How was your Denny's? When did I think about... Oh, yeah. All right, so... what about Richard Allen? And then I was looking at some stuff on Madeline Soto. And some stuff with her mother, and there's all kinds of things happening there. But there's that. Tomorrow I have to go to the doctor. I had blood work done last week from my endocrinologist, and tomorrow I've got to go to my endocrinologist. And then I should be home, God willing, after that, and we'll have a sale after that. I hope I can get my flu shot tomorrow. I think they do. They told me they do give them on Wednesdays, so I'm really hoping I can get my flu shot tomorrow. So that's what we got there. And I'm telling you, if you missed today's interview with those ladies, you need to watch it. You have to watch it. It's a must-see. You must watch it. I'm not joking around. It's a very interesting, and it could save your life. The book could definitely save your life. All right, so let's see what else we can find in a tiny bag of tricks over here. Tricks are for kids. What happened here? Where did this happen? 1 dead and 9 missing in the collapse of a 10-story hotel. In Argentina, collapsed Tuesday morning, leaving 1 man dead and up to 9 people trapped inside. It's the Dubrovnik Hotel. Oh gosh, I hope they're okay. That's a picture of it. Huh. See what else? Michael Malone is writer and TV legend. Michael Malone is dead at 55, and I heard Terry Garr died as well. Michael Malone. Name's not ringing a bell for me yet, but let's see what he did. 55. Michael Malone, a veteran. I feel like this happened already. I don't know why. I just feel like I've seen this already. Like about a year ago or something. Michael Malone, a veteran TV journalist for nearly 20 years at broadcasting and cable and contributor to the New York Times, has passed away. Per his obituary, Malone died on October 19th at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York following a prolonged illness. He was only 55. Oh boy. I feel like this. Yeah. As a lifelong Mets fan, Mike was able to maintain a positive attitude in the face of adversity, a quality that served him well as he coped with his cancer diagnosis. He never gave up hope, his family wrote in his obituary. Celebrated in television industry circles, particularly with local broadcasting due to his extensive tenure at the BNC. Malone began his career there in 2005 as a reporter and quickly ascended to the role of editor. Really? In 2005? Huh, interesting. So that was a little bit of a late start, right? He ultimately obtained a promotion to content editor, overseeing BNC along with its corporate affairs, multi-channel news, and Next TV. According to Deadline, BNC, a nearly century-old trade magazine established during the radio era, discontinued its publication in September, along with the multi-channel news and Next TV. Although Malone initially concentrated on local broadcasting at BNC, he has since expanded his focus to include programming. He also became a member of the Television Critics Association and actively participated in the semi-annual press tours. Additionally, he hosted 2 regular podcasts. Michael Malone was also a prolific freelance writer and contributed to high-profile publications like the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, the Boston Globe, and New Yorker. I think they say New York, but I'm pretty sure they mean New Yorker. A talented and witty wordsmith, Mike also authored several published books. Outside of work, Malone was a respected leader of his son's scout troop. He was also a dedicated coach for his daughter's soccer team. Meanwhile, he was a passionate member of the Village Lions rugby team and an enthusiastic player for his local softball team. Healy's travel. Malone is survived by his wife Susan, his children Gavin and Charlotte, his mother Shelley Malone, and his siblings Nancy, Kate, Eileen. He's also remembered by 8 beloved nieces and nephews. In his online obituaries, family fondly remembered him as a connoisseur of dad jokes, sniglets, and puns, and they added his exuberance, humor, and warmth were infectious. Those who loved him will miss him dearly. A memorial visitation is being scheduled for November 1st from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Hawthorne Funeral Home in Hawthorne, New York. And then Terry Garr passed away. I didn't know she passed away, but now it's multiple sclerosis. Huh. So let's see. Actress Terry Garr was known for her role in Young Frankenstein and guest appearances on Friends, died Tuesday at the age of 79. The comedic actress died after a long battle with multiple sclerosis. She first revealed her diagnosis in 2002, and she retired from acting in 2011. Her first breakout role was in Young Frankenstein, She starred as Inga, Dr. Frederick Frankenstein's assistant. She might be more known to fans from the hit show Friends, where Terry portrayed the character of Phoebe's mom in 3 episodes between 97 and 98. Terry was nominated for an Oscar for her role as Sandy Lester in the 1982 film Tootsie. That year, the award went to her Tootsie co-star Jessica Lange. Other notable roles she held were Ronnie Neary, Richard Dreyfuss's wife in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Caroline Butler, the working mom in the 1983 comedy Mr. Mom. In 2006, she released her memoir called Speed Bumps, Flooring It Through Hollywood, which shared details about her career and her MS diagnosis. After her diagnosis, the star gave her reason for sharing the information publicly. And I quote, she said, "I'm telling my story for the first time so I can help people. I can help people know they aren't alone and tell them there are reasons to be optimistic because today treatment options are available." The same year that she released her memoir, she suffered a brain aneurysm that left her in a coma for a week. Oh my gosh. Terry went through extensive therapy after her aneurysm and slowly regained her speech and motor skills. Fans shared their condolences on social media. "Godspeed, Terry Garr." One fan wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, "Her mere presence in any film just made everything better. An absolute brilliant wit made her one of the greatest comedic actors. So many great performances, so many great movies." Another wrote, "Never the star, but always shining. She made everything she was in better. R.I.P. Terry Garr." A third added, "Rest in peace, Terry Garr, a luminous presence in American cinema. She was smart, lucky enough to great material, but always made it livelier and funny than it could ever possibly have been on the page." So, yeah, sad. Oh, gosh. This is horrible. What the heck? It says Matilde Lorenzi, a nearly 20-year-old Italian alpine skier, died in a hospital in Bolzano due to injury sustained during training in South Tyrol. "We lost her tragically," wrote representatives of the International Ski and Snowboard Federation. "An unimaginable tragedy occurred during training. The young athlete had an accident that resulted in her death." Born on November 15th, 2004, Lorenzi was considered one of the greatest hopes of alpine skiing. She would have been 20 years old, yeah. During training on the Greywan G1 slope in Val Senales, she fell and suffered severe injuries. The young athlete lost her balance during a slalom, and due to the fall sustained serious head injuries. She was immediately transported by helicopter to a hospital in Bolzano, but despite the doctor's efforts, she could not be saved. "We express deep sorrow at the passing of Matilde Lorenzi. We lost her tragically in an accident." Okay, that was said. Lorenzi was also a soldier, as noted in a statement by the Italian Ministry of Defense. "On behalf of the entire army and myself, I extend condolences to the whole family of Corporal Matilde Lorenzi, who died during slalom training in Val Senales," wrote Carmine Masiello from the Italian army. In the previous season, she competed in the World Junior Championships where she finished 6th in downhill and 8th in Super G. She also participated in the European Cup events preparing for her debut in the World Cup. Her tragic death has shocked the sports community in Italy and around the world. Teammates remember her as a talented and passionate athlete who had a promising career ahead of her. Terrible. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. And then a Major League Soccer goalie, Holden Trent, and his fiancée Brianna Lucido show a wedding date of December 20th, 2025 with a celebration planned in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, however, instead of planning a wedding, Lucido is mourning her fiancé after the Philadelphia Union goalie died suddenly over the weekend at the age of 25. Holden passed away this afternoon, surrounded by his family and friends, read a Saturday post from Trent's family on his official Instagram account. The native of Greensboro, North Carolina, had been picked 28th overall in the 2023 draft out of High Point University, though he had yet to make his debut with the Union, reports ESPN. Instead, he'd logged 6 appearances with the Union's second team in MLS Next Pro. Although a cause of death hasn't been offered, the Delaware County Daily Times reports that Trent had ended up in the ICU on Thursday. The Union isn't saying more out of respect to Trent's family. Per ESPN, Trent and Lucido started dating in 2019. They got engaged in 2022. She has yet to publicly address Trent's death. MLS, however, issued a statement on social media praising Trent as a young goalkeeper with a bright future. Trent showcased determination and professionalism every day as he contributed to the close-knit goalkeeping unit at Philadelphia. In its own statement, the Union called Trent's death heartbreaking and noted that he embodied the true meaning of determination, dedication, and perseverance. Let's see. Not to change the graphic. There we go. Very sad stuff. Saga cruise passenger died and 100 left injured after a ship was battered by a violent storm. Let's see here. New York City mom who famously claimed she was abducted by aliens says Netflix. What? Netflix made her look like a liar in the new docuseries. A New York City mother of 2 who shared her controversial story of being abducted by aliens from her downtown apartment in an upcoming Netflix docuseries says the streaming giant ended up portraying her as a fabulist, and she's fighting to block the show's release. Linda Napolitano, who first told her story under the pseudonym Linda Cortelli, has long claimed 3 gray bipedal beings extracted her during the wee hours of November 30th, 1989, from her 12th floor window on a blue beam of light, lifting her into a reddish-orange spacecraft that quickly sped off towards the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh boy. Late artist turned UFO investigator Bud Hopkins championed Napolitano's story in the 1997 book Witness, the True Story of the Brooklyn Bridge Abduction, generating widespread interest and naturally some skepticism. Hopkins said he became further convinced Napolitano was telling the truth after he received a letter from 2 bodyguards who said they had been nearby protecting an unnamed world leader when they saw a woman floating through the night sky into an alien spacecraft. More than 20 other witnesses claim that they too witnessed Napolitano's purported abduction. Now, Napolitano, who's 77, is trying to block Netflix from releasing its take on the supposed incident called the Manhattan Alien Abduction, set to premiere on Wednesday, claiming it presents a tale of skepticism and an examination of Napolitano's pulling the wool over Hopkins' eyes rather than a credulous recitation of her claims, according to an eye-popping lawsuit. Here is, let's do this. Let's put the graphic there, Linda Napolitano. A woman claims to have been abducted from her bedroom in Manhattan, reads a promo on Netflix. The docuseries explores whether it was an elaborate hoax or proof of alien life. In an email, an appreciative Napolitano seemed eager to provide further details of the situation, but apparently my attorney doesn't want me to comment. Let's see. Napolitano, in her complaint, alleges that she was defamed on screen by Hopkins' late ex-wife, who she alleges is embittered, an alcoholic ex-wife hell-bent on revenge against her husband. This mini-series was the ex's last defying act of retribution to get even with her ex-husband rather than exhibit the actual truth as investigated and written about and witnessed, according to the complaint, which was filed Monday in the New York State Supreme Court. Hopkins' ex was said to have been bothered by her husband's failure to heed discrediting elements of Napolitano's story. In 2011, Hopkins' ex-wife published an article debunking the idea of alien abductions and lambasted his research methodology. To that end, psychiatrists who have studied the phenomenon say there are numerous reasons people might believe they are abducted by aliens, such as those suffering from fantasy-prone personality disorder or SA survivors creating so-called screen memories to block out the trauma of what they endured. The London-based producers of the film, Napolitano's complaint argues, assured her that they were planning to tell the truthful story of the abduction of Linda, as laid out in the pages of Hopkins' books. This, according to the complaint, led Napolitano, who says she had long been reluctant to appear on film, to believe her version of events would in fact finally be presented. However, Napolitano insists that she was misled from the get-go. The producers went forward with a different version of what she agreed to, instead setting up Hopkins' ex as an expert skeptic in this field. Her questioning of Napolitano's accounts seemed only to cast aspersions on her, with scripted dialogue supporting what she says amounted to a false narrative. The complaint states, taking further aim at the unflattering and denigrating costumes Napolitano was given to wear on screen. Hopkins' ex-wife, according to Napolitano's complaint, provided the filmmakers with the personal papers, notes, and videos about her supposed abduction, but also forged a letter wherein she asserted that Napolitano said the entire incident was a hoax. But Napolitano alleges that Hopkins' ex, who died in 2023, stole the materials he had about her case after the two separated but were still living in the same home. The two divorced in 2006. Napolitano said that she would have never participated in the project had she known the producers would be relying upon false representations of what she insists happened to her, and that they preyed upon her naivete about movie making to get her to cooperate. She didn't realize anything was amiss until an associate attended a mid-September screening of the miniseries in the UK, according to the complaint. Among other things, Napolitano's complaint takes issue with her being shown in a grotesque and unusual fashion in unflattering clothes that were not her own sense of dress, making her up to appear old and haggard, and having her hair set in an unusual fashion not her own, thus all done to her, not appearing as her own self, but as a caricature of an almost cartoonish-like character. She claims she was forced to read from a script and made out to be a liar based on the confession she now insists she never made. So I'm trying to see something with this. Yeah, that's what I want to see what her first name was, Linda. In her complaint, Napolitano argues that she was set up as a villain for purposes of controversy and conflict, which supporting a narrative she says will subject her to shame and ridicule and destroy her reputation as an honest and decent person who experienced the abduction and only agreed to have this documentary of her experience to be truthfully told for the first time. Napolitano is claiming defamation and fraud with punitive and exemplary damages to be determined in court. She insists the final result was patently false and that the producers never intended on presenting a documentary based upon a true story. In all, Napolitano's complaint claims their conduct was reckless, fraudulent, oppressive, and despicable. And in the miniseries it released, and if the miniseries is released, no compensation could possibly undo the reputational damage she would suffer. Napolitano is demanding a judge issue a restraining order to block Netflix from airing the Manhattan alien abduction, making any public comments, or issuing any press releases as to why it was canceled, or posting any explanation to social media. The Independent is the world's most free-thinking news brand, providing global news commentary. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's it. Crazy, huh? Wow. Anna Kendrick. What did we just watch with her recently? Anna Kendrick. I know we watched something. California University investigates offensive viral TikTok of a blackface Diddy costume. Let's see here. Did anybody just hear like a whistle? I don't know what the heck that is. See if there's anything else. Hang on. Okay, so I think gone through everything there. Let's see here. Let's try one other thing here. Karen Reed, awaiting her second trial on accusation she killed her cop boyfriend, says, I feel incredibly violated. Diddy asked a 10-year-old boy how badly he wanted to be a star before SA lawsuit says. Oh boy. Some New York schools closed after at-large suspect allegedly shoots 3 people, including 2 children. What's going on here? Police are looking for Fernando Jimenez in connection with the shootings. Let's see what's going on here. Uh-oh, where's this? Summers, New York. Let me go and get this and see if this is still active and they haven't found him. Oh, he has been apprehended, thankfully. And he's in state police custody. State police, oh, he was in the Peekskill area. Wow, okay, he's in custody, thank goodness. But he shot his girlfriend and her 2 sons, according to this one. Not, oh my gosh. Sean Diddy Combs sued on allegations that he SA'd a 10-year-old and 17-year-old males in the mid-2000s. Let's read about Diddy here, what he's doing here. Wow, Diddy, what are you doing here? Did he do it? I don't know, this guy. On Monday, October 28th, 2 men sued Sean Diddy Combs in the Supreme Court of New York, alleging that he drugged and SA'd them when they were 10 and 17. They both filed under the identities of John Doe per court documents. They named Combs and Daddy's House Recordings, Inc., Combs Global and Combs Bad Boy Companies. One accuser alleged in his complaint that he met Combs during an audition in 2005 when he was just 10 years old. His parents flew him from Los Angeles to New York City for meetings and introductions with numerous people within the music industry, including having to sit down with Sean Diddy Combs. The filing alleges that Combs wanted to meet the then 10-year-old in his hotel room, and the child was dropped off by a consultant his parents had hired. Once there, he alleges that Combs said he could make him a star and asked him how badly he wanted it. He alleges someone else in the hotel room gave him a soda, and he began to feel a little funny after drinking it. He claims that Combs or someone on his staff laced the drink with drugs such as GHB and or ecstasy. A photo of the container allegedly used to lace the drink is included in the filing. The accuser alleges that Combs forced him to perform something with his mouth on him and threatened to harm his parents if he told anyone. He also claimed that he lost consciousness, and when he woke up crying, his anus and buttocks hurt badly, and his pants were undone. He adds that he told his parents, but they were terrified of the potential consequences of reporting the abuse. In the second complaint, Diddy is accused of SAing a 17-year-old male around 2008. The assault allegedly occurred when the teenager was auditioning for the MTV reality competition series Making the Band, where aspiring musicians compete for a spot in a musical group managed by the Bad Boy label founder, Diddy. In the complaint, Diddy is accused of pleasuring himself while groping the teen during a private one-on-one interview on the first day of auditions. The complaint alleges on the second day of auditions, Diddy forced him to do something with his mouth to Diddy and his bodyguard. And after the alleged assault, Diddy allegedly told the teen that he'd be keeping an eye on him. After sensing his discomfort with what happened, the teenager was eventually eliminated from the competition. The complaint also claims that the teenager was unable to return to the music industry for 7 years following the assault. The plaintiffs, who are now represented by the Busby law firm, are seeking compensatory and punitive damages to be determined at trial. Both were seeking to break into the music business and were promised Combs could help them, said lead counsel Tony Busby in a statement. One alleged victim was 10 at the time of the alleged occurrence. The other one was 17. We will let the allegations in the filed complaint speak for themselves, and we will work to see that justice is done. We will continue to file cases weekly, naming Mr. Combs and others as defendants as we continue to gather evidence and prepare the filings. The lawyer behind the lawsuit is interested in media attention rather than truth, as is obvious from his constant press appearances and the 1-800 number, said Diddy's attorney. As we've stated before, Mr. Combs cannot respond to every new publicity stunt, even in response to claims that are ridiculous or false. Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. The claims are the latest in Sean Combs' ongoing legal troubles. On September 16th, the disgraced mogul was arrested in Manhattan and charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He's being held in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center awaiting trial. His trial is scheduled to begin on May 5th, 2025. Interesting. Oh. Says food's probably the roughest part of Mogul's life. Okay, let's see what this is about. Gosh. Attorneys for Sean Diddy Combs say that the music mogul's most difficult adjustment to being behind bars is the food that he's eating. I think the food's probably the roughest part of it, said his attorney, Mark Agnifilo. He told reporters outside of a federal courthouse, on weekdays, lunches served at 11 a.m., dinners served at 4 p.m. The lunches are comprised mostly of main courses, including hamburgers, baked fish or beef tacos with scrambled eggs and biscuits on the weekend. At dinner, the menu includes choices like chicken fajitas, pasta, and roast beef. The prison also serves heart-healthy meals and vegetarian dishes like lentils, tofu, and baked beans. His day behind bars started at 6 a.m. with breakfast of cereal, fruit, and a breakfast cake. So I'm trying to see what they're saying about his food. So what's so bad about his food here? I think the food's probably the roughest part of it. Okay, well, crazy. All right, let's go back here now. White Angel. The first time I ever heard the name Diddy, I thought to myself, who names themselves Diddy? Like, what kind of name is that? Yeah, I don't know why he's got it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think the same thing. I don't even know. I don't listen to Diddy's music. I don't even know Diddy's music. He's not a rapper that I like. And that's before anything. I only know him. I can't even believe that Sean John, like I've seen the clothing in the stores, didn't like that either. But he's been nobody that I've ever followed, or probably just had a sixth sense about him. I don't know. Sorry, my opinion is he just does not exude that he's a good person, and I don't know, just he seems like a creepo to me. And then reading these things, it's really bad. Hi, Gail B. How are you? Okay, now again, I'm going to say, if you did not see the interview today, please go and watch it after we're done here. You won't want to miss it. It could save your life. Okay, and I don't know what Roman's here, okay? We got Roman for a couple of days, and he's sleeping up in Luke's room, and I keep hearing him. He sounds like, I don't know what the heck he's doing. Roman! Roman! Come here, Roman. I don't know if he's building a tunnel or what the heck he's doing. He likes to, like... Oh, gosh. Hold on. I'm going to just go... I'll be right there. Let me just check what he is doing. Hang on, because I don't know what the heck he's doing. Okay. I had to put him back in the bed with Luke because I don't know if he couldn't get back on the bed or what was his deal. But it's all fixed now. Okay. All right, let's go on to finish our white cookie. Sorry about that. No, it's Roman. It's my grand dog who got here. He's spending a few days with us. Okay. I don't know. Maybe he couldn't get back on the bed. I don't know. he was just happy that I got up there and got him back in the bed. Whoopsie. What's going on? FLOE. Okay, hold on a minute. Do. Oh my gosh, I can't. I put flood and I forgot to put flood. Oh gosh. That was stupid. Flood, that's right. Oh, doodle. Doodle for sale. Okay. Folded, okay. Folded. Very good. Hi, M.E. How are you tonight? Oh my goodness, let's try one that we didn't do. And lie. And and okay, and okay, and this would be, oh, oh, lope, lope. Okay, there we go. We got that one. Thank you, Amy. Continue, and let's see. We just have one more right here. Let's finish up on this one. I can't believe that it's going to be the 31st, and we're going to be in November. Oh no! Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know if I can do this anymore tonight. I'm exhausted. And I've got a appointment tomorrow. I think I'm going to have to just call it on account of tired. My head is tired. My head doesn't hurt. I'm just tired. Okay, well, I appreciate you guys coming here. I appreciate the likes, the shares, the views, the channel support, anything. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And please watch that interview. Share it out. It could save a life. We'll see you tomorrow. I love you guys. God bless. Prayers. Be good. Stay safe. Make good choices. See you guys later. Love you. Bye-bye.